particularly well at the moment, Chelsea, but Brentford will be coming here trying to spoil the party, that is for sure.
Damsgaard in the centre circle, a sliced crossfield pass headed away by Cucurella, who easily got there with great authority in front of the bearded Mbeumo. Floodlights beaming down from up above at Stamford Bridge, little gap in the stands where you can see the lights of West London nearby. Sanchez lets the ball run across his right foot, and that was perilously close to goal, hence the groan from the Chelsea fans, but he gets away with it, the goalkeeper.
As I mentioned earlier, you always put your heart in your mouth a touch with Sanchez. Always gives you an opportunity.
Just keep an eye on Cole Palmer, who's maybe not moving quite as freely as you'd expect.
No, just copped a dead leg from that last corner, clashed at the near post and just limping away at present.
17 minutes which have been dominated by Chelsea, no question about that, but it is still goalless at Stamford Bridge in the West London derby. Southampton 0, Tottenham 3 in the Premier League. Man City 1, Man United 2 earlier, and Brighton 1, Palace 3. Long throw into the area, headed away by Tosin. It's come back out to the far side of the left, and now the opportunity for Brentford to try and cross into the penalty area again. Jackson is across doing his defending impressively and diligently, and the ball is out of play. Pinnock trying to gallop forward, and Jackson able to shepherd it behind it. It's a goal kick to Chelsea at the Matthew Harding end.
Yeah, it's amazing how a team, there were signs of a good Chelsea squad stroke team last year on the odd occasion, but all of a sudden they've come up to air. There's a camaraderie there. You looked as though they were short of leadership, I thought, last year when you looked at the ranks, but all of a sudden they look so much better in how they're playing the game, the patterns through the team, the confidence within the group.
Everything has changed at Chelsea, it feels like, this season, even despite an impressive end to last year under Maurizio Pochettino, who of course didn't last the summer. Headed by Colwell on the halfway line, and the ball is won back by the tenacious Yarmoliak, a young man who's impressed in midfield for Brentford this season. It feels like his breakthrough. Brentford do have injuries yet again, which gives even more illustration to the job that Thomas Frank has done. Here are Chelsea with Gusto in the right back spot. We've got live cricket coming up for you later tonight on TalkSport 2. Day 3 of the third test between England and New Zealand in Hamilton, as Brentford win it back now. Collins down the middle, Visser inside left channel, one-on-one with Tosin, ball across the face of goal. Tosin stood up to it well. Former Fulham man, of course, knows a thing or two about West London derby games, and he's turned the ball behind, and it's a corner to Brentford, their first of the game.
Yeah, he dealt with him really well there. Visser got the ball inside left channel into the box, and really he's tried to shove it through Tosin's legs, and it just didn't work. For me, he's got to drop his shoulder, feint a little bit and get his shot away and drive one at the goalkeeper.
Damsgaard is the man who is standing over this corner for Brentford. It'll be right-footed and in-swinging. Oh, he's drilled it low towards the near post. Terrible delivery. Got it luckily back off Palmer. Damsgaard whips in the high cross to the back post, and that's equally poor in a very different way. It looped over everybody in red and white and was easy for Sanchez to gather on his line. How is Cole Palmer moving at the moment, Stuart?
I think he's okay, to be fair. It was just a clash of coming together. The way he swept that ball across field, I think that answers your question, Joe.
Beautifully controlled by Madueke. Lovely dig to Enzo Fernandez, and Flecken from a very tight angle makes the save with his feet. It's a save you'd expect the goalkeeper to make. Chelsea at their free-flowing best, and they win a corner.
This is how you know a team are used to playing with each other. There's been a couple of times now where there's been inside runs and little slide passes into the box where players, firstly it was Cole Palmer got a shot away, then it was Fernandez getting a shot away. That little understanding between players.
TalkSport 2, 20 minutes played. He's getting hero worship now, isn't he, Palmer, as he goes across to take the corner. Who'd have thought that? The former Manchester City man. In front of the shed end, plenty forward in Chelsea, royal blue. All of them in and around the 6-yard box, and the referee stopped the taking of the corner, which has ended up in the back of the net. Palmer will have to take it again. The whistle had long gone. And Colwell is being spoken to by the referee. Cucurella is nearby as well. And is it Keane Lewis Potter who's having to try and stick with Colwell here at the corner? I think it is.
Yeah, it certainly is. There's pushing, shoving, blocking, you name it. Players not looking at the ball. It really is Can be a bit of a jumble in there.
Palmer will take the corner again here for Chelsea. Brentford with everybody back, whipped into the near post and punched up into the air by Flecken. Not very far, headed clear by Damsgaard from inside the penalty area, back in by Caicedo, straight to Damsgaard, who scoops it clear up to the halfway line, and retrieving it is Sancho with a heavy back pass, actually very calmly controlled by the Chelsea goalkeeper Robert Sanchez this time. We've breezed through the first 21 and a half minutes. Chelsea 0, Brentford 0, so Chelsea would miss the chance as it stands to close the gap on Liverpool to just 2 points. But of course Chelsea very much ensconced in the race for the title. And I think Brentford will be quite happy, Stuart Pearce, that it's still 0-0.
Yeah, they will. I think the downside of Brentford's play at the moment, they've had a couple of opportunities to put set plays in there, and the delivery's been a bit disappointing. Whether it be from a long throw they've not got on things, or corners, and that's a part of their game that I'm sure they pride themselves on.
The Carabao Cup commentaries next week. Arsenal against Crystal Palace and Southampton against Liverpool on Wednesday. Spurs against Manchester United on Thursday. And we'll have updates of Newcastle against Brentford at St James's Park on that Wednesday night. Bournemouth against West Ham in the Premier League tomorrow in the Monday Night Football. Already seen so much remarkable drama today in the Premier League. Gary O'Neill, the Wolves manager, has lost his job. Never nice to see any manager leave a football club, but that felt inevitable, I think, Stuart, didn't it?
Well, it did. I was very protective towards him probably a month ago when you looked at the fixtures. He had a real tough pile-up of fixtures at the start of the season. He didn't play anyone in the bottom half of the league, and all of a sudden you think to yourself, well, once he starts playing some of the lower teams.
Here comes Gusto, surging over the halfway line, and he's got 3 in blue in support. Brentford backing off, Gusto to Palmer, edge of the D, well controlled, wide to Sancho, Cucurella on the overlap, digs in the cross, diving header away. Keane Lewis Potter, Chelsea throw, 10 yards from the corner flag. Great enthusiasm about the Chelsea fans for their team. That connection with the crowd, I think, has really been rediscovered under Maresca.
Yeah, it certainly has. As I say, last season there were signs of it on occasion, but not regularly enough. This season I think Chelsea have shown more a level of consistency in their play.
Very quick on the transition, Chelsea, so far tonight, but Brentford have looked adept defensively and off the ball. The only point they've picked up in the Premier League on the road this season was at Everton, and ironically that day they had Christian Norgard sent off in the first half, so it was a gutsy point, but too often away from home they've been blown away early on, and Chelsea have been blowing teams away in the Premier League all season as Flecken hacks the ball out of play, and there's a bit of disagreement in the Brentford ranks. I don't think Flecken wanted the ball there, and Chelsea will have a throw on the halfway line on that far side beneath the West Stand, and it's 3 tiers. Still Southampton 0, Tottenham 3, so, well, you'd think game over, wouldn't you, in the Premier League there on Talk Sport, as Mbeumo wins the ball back off, tossing down the Brentford left, has now gone out to play for a Brentford throw. The referee is signalling that it has. I think the assistant disagreed initially, and the Chelsea fans are not happy, but it might allow Brentford, as you say, Stuart, to whip in one of these long throws, and off goes Pinnock to get ready to take it.
Yeah, exactly. It's part of the play. What it does as well, it breaks the play up. When you're on the road and not got a good away form, slowing the play down, especially places like Chelsea's, is a good thing, and Pinnock has got a hell of a throw on him.
Well, Norgard, Collins and Van den Berg are the obvious targets inside the penalty area, and Mbeumo at the near post as well with Yarmoliuk. Visser also lurking. Long throw by Pinnock towards Van den Berg, headed away at the near post by his opposite number, Chelsea number 4, Tossing. Madueke, clever touch, Sancho racing down the middle, big gaps here for Brentford, big problems for Brentford. Sancho inside right, high ball over the top, Madueke brings it down inside the area, but he couldn't bring it under complete control, swept away by Visser. Palmer was right in front of Sancho, nobody anywhere near him. Sancho elected to play a much more difficult ball.
Yeah, it was an incredible break there. 4 players set sail against 2 defenders, and probably if Madueke left the ball to Fernandez, who was just in behind him, might have been a better option.
Chelsea back in action here in the Conference League on Thursday against Shamrock Rovers, already into the knockout stages of that competition. Chelsea, you'd expect them to win it. Far and away, you would think, the best team in the UEFA Conference League this season, Chelsea. Here is Malo Gusto, right wing position. He looks up, faced up by Damsgaard, who has, I think rightfully, won rave reviews for his Brentford performances this season. 26 minutes gone, and the breakthrough yet to come here at Stamford Bridge. Chelsea 0, Brentford 0. Yarmoliak, good look over his shoulder, saw the goalkeeper as under pressure initially. Flecken then took up a different position and was able to clear high and long downfield. Brentford can't really make it stick at the moment though, Stuart.
No, and that is a problem for them. As I say, the ball comes back too readily.
Darting down the middle is Palmer now, edge of the tee, left is Jackson. Jackson shoots right-footed, and Pinnock with a last-ditch challenge to turn it behind for a corner.
Yeah, good play there by Chelsea. Palmer looked, got his head up, looked for the shot, knew it wasn't on, decided to flick it to Jackson. And to be fair to Pinnock, he got across really well, dropped down to one knee, akin to a goalkeeper picking a ball up, and just deflected wide.
It's 4-0 to Tottenham at Southampton. Pap Sarr with the latest goal live on Talk Sport tonight. Some Southampton fans had left at 3-0, but the ground will be emptying now. Chelsea 0, Brentford 0. Rather closer encounter here on Talk Sport 2, at least so far. Enzo Fernandez to take the corner, right-footed, goalkeeper stays on his line, rooted to the line, and Madueke heads it wide. Early today in the Premier League, Brighton 1, Crystal Palace 3, Man City 1, Man United 2, who got Manchester City's next game away at Aston Villa, live as part of game day on Saturday on Talk Sport. That's a 12:30 kickoff. Another big day in the Premier League before we get into the Christmas period. Ipswich against Newcastle next weekend as well on Talk Sport 2. Then all 10 Premier League games live for you on the network on Boxing Day. Caicedo over the halfway line, he's given it straight to Yarmoliak, who gets the return ball from Mbeumo but can't steer it back out wide to Roerslev. What of that chance for Madueke from the corner, Stuart Pearce?
Yeah, to be honest with you, doesn't look like an individual that enjoys heading the ball, to be fair, you know.
He has many talents.
Yeah, indeed he does.
Possibly that, not one of them.
No, Tosin was behind him and probably would have been better off getting out of the way.
Roerslev has pulled it back towards Damsgaard, cleared away. Excellent intervention by Cucurella sliding in. And then the ball goes out of play for a corner to Brentford. Damsgaard about 8 yards out as he struck that, and it was certainly an impressive block, I think, by Colwill.
Colwill got there. In fact, it was an incredible block. That was going in the far corner. And Colwill stretched out a right leg and just blocked the trajectory of the ball. Fantastic defending.
So now here comes the corner to Brentford at the Matthew Harding end. Plenty forward again in red and white. Chelsea with a rare bit of defensive work to do in the game. Brentford haven't tested Sanchez yet. In by Mbeumo, into the 6-yard box. Good header away by Tosin. Very dominant aerially Tosin. And actually, he has started his Chelsea career, I think, with great confidence, the 27-year-old. Headed it clear as far as Flecken, the Brentford goalkeeper. Hammers a high diagonal ball out to the left-hand side, well controlled by Norgard, who loops it across, headed away by Cucurella this time. Chelsea sweep the ball further forward with Jackson over halfway. Palmer cuts inside into a more central area, away from Mbeumo, and then he wanted Madueke to make the run down the right, but the crossfield ball out of play. And dare I say it, with half an hour gone, maybe some Chelsea fans expected this to be a walkover tonight, given Brentford's away form, but it hasn't been that way, Stuart Pearce, so far.
No, it certainly hasn't, and to be honest with you, the longer the game goes without Chelsea scoring, you know, they've got to try and erode the confidence and keep putting pressure on Brentford. But at this moment in time, I don't think they've had too many clear-cut chances, Chelsea.
The ball's been given away to Caicedo. Now Palmer, quick ball out to the left, and the long-haired Cucurella, instantly recognisable. Sancho back to the halfway line, and now here is Tosin all alone in the centre circle, and there's lots of space for Malo Gusto as well. Chelsea 0, Brentford 0 on TalkSport 2. Noni Madueke, edge of the 18-yard area, back to Gusto, one touch control, the other to cross, only half headed away by Norgard. Jackson's touch, headed away by Roerslev, again not very far, only to the edge of the Brentford penalty area. Palmer, clever flick over his shoulder, looking for Enzo Fernandez. It's like pinball on the edge of the Brentford box. Now it's back to Malo Gusto, low ball into the near post, it was fizzed into Enzo Fernandez, who couldn't control. Now Lewis Potter's lost possession. That's sloppy for Brentford. Noni Madueke out on the right hand side. all left foot as he takes on Damsgaard, then dribbles to the dead ball line, delivers right-footed, turned behind by Norgard. The latest odds are with William Hill, the official betting partner of TalkSport 2's Premier League coverage. Right now, Chelsea to win at 3-10, Brentford to win at 13-2, and the draw at 9-2. That's all thanks to William Hill, 18 plus, begambleaware.org. Here comes the next Chelsea corner. Palmer belatedly going to take it.
I think, to be fair, Chelsea done extremely well there. They kept the attack alive 2 or 3 occasions. Brentford just couldn't get out of their final 30 metres. They really couldn't. Cucurella first off, making sure the ball couldn't come out.
Palmer's left-footed in, swinging corner. Out comes the goalkeeper, punches it away at the near post. It's come back out to Palmer again. Level the edge of the area. That's a great ball in. Tosin goes up for it, and then hit on the volley by Sancho into the side netting. No touch from Flecken. The Brentford fans cheer ironically. Chelsea, was it a half chance for Sancho, or given his potential quality, could he have done even better?
Well, it was a difficult one. The ball coming from a height, but he's hitting it on the volley. Anything on target's going to cause a big problem from that distance. But who done extremely well there? The ball come back out of Cole Palmer. A lot of players would have probably took a touch, slowed it down. He whipped it straight back in the box. Good play.
Damsgaard collects possession, halfway line, ball over the top to the right, and Wissa, 2 in the penalty area. Johan Wissa delivers deflection on the cross, and Sanchez did well, good handling, edge of the 6-yard box, and the Chelsea goalkeeper wants to start a quick attack, but eventually saw that nobody really in blue was available, much to the frustration of the Chelsea fans behind his goal. Colwell now tapping the ball forward 10 yards to Caicedo, who wins a throw in the left-back position. Southampton 0, Tottenham 4 on TalkSport tonight in the first half. 32 minutes gone there. We've had nearly 33 at Stamford Bridge, and it's goalless.
Well,
TalkSport 2.
Second season started with Gary O'Neill. I wonder, with this scoreline at Southampton, whether the...
Is it sustainable, the Russell Martin style in these circumstances? We don't know the circumstances of the Spurs goals tonight, but you do wonder. And so many times it's individual errors, isn't it, for Southampton? And Tottenham could yet add more goals. That was billed as a potentially difficult game for Ange Postecoglou. Wins for Manchester United in the Manchester derby earlier, and for Crystal Palace at Brighton in the Premier League early today. Celtic, the Scottish League Cup winners. Watford and Burnley victors in the Championship this afternoon. As Caicedo plays the ball back to goalkeeper Sanchez, and now Colwell on the edge of the box. Colwell, good intelligent ball, hit about 50 yards into the inside left channel. Jackson chasing, blocked off by Pinnock. Pinnock does well in combination with Roerslev to win it back.
I'll tell you where Pinnock done really well there. He knew that if Jackson got there first and got the run on him, he had a big problem.
The ball has come back to Sancho, square to Enzo Fernandez, head to the tee, reverse ball towards Madueke, who couldn't quite reach it. Brentford should smuggle it away. Collins has held on to the ball. Good composure under pressure from Collins. Brentford have it with Norgard. Actually, rarely have they looked all that stretched defensively today, Brentford, so far.
No, they've managed to... The good thing for Brentford is they've managed to get that 5-3-1-1 formation back behind the ball very quickly and stopped any counter-attack threat from Chelsea and not been isolated.
Such an irresistible Chelsea attacking threat. Brentford long over the halfway line. Out comes Sanchez, hammers it away. Good goalkeeping, and the offside flag, that checkered flag, belatedly goes up against Brown and Boomer. In fairness to Sanchez, Stuart, it sometimes does feel that every move he makes is under the microscope, doesn't it?
That's probably because he's given a few...
He has it yet. No, you're right. You're right.
And the opposition see that as well. When you set your team up, you tell your strikers, go and press the goalkeeper. You see Caicedo as well, with his back to play, looks a little bit nervous is the word. So between him and Sanchez, the opposition might think, hang on, we might get something here.
Here is Madueke, quick feed on the far side, the right, taking on Lewis Potter in a one-on-one. Madueke checks back, plays the ball backwards 10 yards to Caicedo. Chelsea 0, Brentford 0 on TalkSport 2 with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Enterprise has vans of all shapes and sizes, so if you've got a plan, they've got a van. Sancho, 25 yards out, can't find Palmer. The ball is cleared away by Christian Norgard, only as far as Yarmoliuk. Tearing forward towards the halfway line, and he's been tracked all the way diligently by Cucurella. Wissa now 10 yards from the halfway line, angled ball to the right, and Yarma Liak again, who turns away from Sancho, and Brentford slow the game down and keep possession.
You just get the impression that Brentford are just gaining a little bit of confidence within the game at this moment in time. Just playing their way out at the back.
Pinnock under pressure from Jackson, heavy ball back to the goalkeeper Flecken in the yellow short sleeve shirt, and he's able to steer the ball to Collins, and now Van den Berg, edge of the Brentford penalty area. Brentford playing with confidence as they try to move the ball out of the final third, but Roerslev gives it to Caicedo, left wing position, there could be trouble here, dead ball line, cuts it back, great interception by Pinnock. Otherwise, from the edge of the 6-yard box, Jackson might have had a tap in.
I'll tell you what, Pinnock's been outstanding in these last few minutes. Dealt with Jackson, ended up cutting that one out. It's a goal if he doesn't cut it out.
37th minute, 0-0. Johan Visser, crossfield ball, picks out Lewis Potter deep inside the Chelsea half. He's let it run across his body. Now he's being jockeyed by Gusto. Has to go back to Collins. Offside flag is up against Lewis Potter. And it's a free kick to Chelsea. In the WSL today, Everton 2, Man City 1, Villa 3, West Ham 1, Palace 0, Man United 1, Liverpool 0, Arsenal 1. Chelsea still very much the league leaders in the WSL despite dropping points yesterday. Still Southampton 0, Spurs 4 in the Premier League live on Talk Sport. 13 shots on goal for Spurs, 1 for Southampton, and 61% Tottenham possession as well. Nightmare evening for Russell Martin and Southampton. They're bottom of the Premier League. They've only got 5 points given away by Colwill for Chelsea. And maybe Chelsea just slightly lacking that refinement in their play that they've had basically all season at the moment. Brentford have done an unexpectedly good job defending against them. And Brentford now thinking red and white stripes. Norgard back to Van den Berg, and Roerslev steers the ball in field to the feet of Pinnock. It is a very composed display from Thomas Frank's Brentford so far.
It is. They're gaining a bit of confidence in this. Chelsea asking questions but not clear-cut efforts at goal, and there's trouble.
Given away by Flecken, straight to Madueke, angle tight in the area, Madueke could save. He's made up for it, the goalkeeper, stretches one of those long legs to turn it wide of the post. He raises one arm in apology, he knows he gave the ball away, but Flecken then keeps out the shot.
Well, you lose count every weekend, Joe, don't you, of teams playing out from the back, and nearly could have been very, very costly for Brentford.
Enzo Fernandez takes the corner short to Cole Palmer. A 4th corner for Chelsea. Palmer steers the ball back to Caicedo, 30 yards out, rolls it wide again to Palmer on the near side, the Chelsea left. Quite quiet so far, Palmer. 0-0. Enzo Fernandez waiting for the run of Palmer. First time cross, turned away again by Flecken. Uses his feet, the goalkeeper, to knock that behind for a corner. Enzo Fernandez just pointed the way he wanted Palmer to make the run. He was unmarked and actually might have done better by his very high standards.
Yeah, really poor play there by Damsgaard. They've gone out to front up, 2-on-2. All you've got to do is stay with your runner. You know, Cole Palmer's intelligent, but he's not a speed merchant. Just got done by the give and go.
Flecken starting to be worked harder in the Brentford goal. Chilly night at Stamford Bridge. Chelsea 0, Brentford 0, and Enzo Fernandez gets the ball back from Palmer, chips in a high cross deep to the back post. It's half brought down by Colwill on the stretch. Eventually Madueke will control in front of Lewis Potter, who commits a needless foul with Madueke retreating back towards the touchline, and that's a Chelsea free kick that Brentford should not have conceded.
No, he shouldn't. As I say, I think Madueke was quite cute there. Sort of went to ground when he felt any contact, and he was literally right on the touchline. There was no need for that.
Some of the Chelsea fans in front of us at the very top of the East Stand are getting out of their seats and heading for the concourse areas ahead of half-time. Chelsea free kick, Enzo Fernandez and Cole Palmer standing over it. As it stands, the gap to Liverpool would be 4 points. Liverpool, of course, will have a game in hand on everybody after the Merseyside derby was postponed a couple of weeks ago. So will it be Fernandez or Palmer? 2 players of great quality standing over the set piece. Palmer, it would be an in-swinging ball and closer to the goal line, and Enzo Fernandez from that position right-footed and out-swinging. Everybody back here for Brentford. In the 41st minute on TalkSport 2. Delivered in by Palmer into the near post. Tosin went for it, and the flag is up on the far side. It came off Norgard, and Brentford get a free kick. Palmer then hammered the ball out of play, and the Brentford fans want a yellow card. I don't think there'll be any further punishment, though, from the referee, Peter Banks.
Yeah, really poor play there, getting offside. He was literally no movement from Tosin at all. He stood in an offside position and got flagged offside when the ball came in.
So, a first half that is maybe turning into something that you'd describe as a frustrating one for Chelsea.
Yeah, I think today's been an interesting day result-wise across the Premier League, and not many would have probably thought this would be 0-0 coming up to the first half. But, as we've seen many times before, goals just before half-time are critical.
Full marks to Brentford and Thomas Frank so far. Sanchez forward to Caicedo, edge of his own penalty area. Plays a first-time ball back to Tosin, who then charges forward at pace. Jackson's been quiet, deep inside his own half. Back he goes to Gusto with the orange boots on, and a high ball fizzed up the right-hand side. Madueke had to stretch to keep that in play. He did so brilliantly under the challenge of Collins, and then drives onto the outside and then back out wide onto the far side, the right again. He's teasing Collins and he crosses to the back post. That's overhit over Sancho. Cucurella picks up the loose ball, whips in his own delivery, headed away, drops to Caicedo, edge of the penalty area. Good work by Mbermo, just getting in front of Caicedo in the vital moment to hook it away from him and up to the halfway line.
Yeah, the one thing this Brentford team have got, a work rate and a togetherness. They've had that for many a year. Consistency of management has certainly enhanced that.
Still 0-0. Madueke, great ball. Cucurella, fine header. 1-0 Chelsea. What a brilliant cross from Madueke, left-footed and in swinging. And there was Mark Cucurella to head home from close range. His first Premier League goal for Chelsea, and there can surely be no doubt that Chelsea this season under Enzo Maresca are right in the heart of the Premier League title race. Just before half-time, they've broken Brentford down. It's a rare goal for Cucurella, set up by Madueke. Chelsea 1, Brentford 0.
Well, we're just mentioning what a horrible time it is, conceding just before half-time, and that's exactly what's happened to Brentford. Got to say, as you mentioned, great ball in. That little out-swinger, in-swinger as such, and Cucurella driving into the box, stooped and just got an afro on it, really, didn't he? For want of a better word. It's like an overgrown Kevin Keegan.
And it was enough to turn it beyond Fleck, and a glancing touch, wasn't it? Downward header into the bottom corner. The credit for the pass from Noni Madueke will be sizable. A wonderful in-swinging delivery, and Chelsea, on the balance of play, deserve to lead 1-0.
Yeah, potentially. You're just looking at Brentford and you think they've just got comfortable in the game, you know, they would be desperate to get to half-time, 0-0, very desperate on that, and all of a sudden they find themselves 1-0 down and Chelsea pressing again.
And this Chelsea team are relentless, and here is Palmer, midway inside the Brentford half. Now Enzo Fernandez, he's 35 yards out, he looks up, he plays it square to Palmer, left-footed drive, charged down, it loops up into the air, the ball, and then Jackson with an overhead kick from the edge of the box, and it's wide. 30 seconds of normal time to go in the first half. Chelsea 1, Brentford 0, here's Stuart Pearce.
Yeah, they counter-attack just then by Chelsea, surging on again. Enzo really should be sliding Gusto in, and made a great run outside him, turned that down, and then an acrobatic overhead kick was never going to trouble the goalkeeper.
Madueke had started to trouble Brentford, hadn't he, on that Chelsea right-hand side, and he's always looking to cut in onto the left foot. And it was a ball of great quality, asking to be headed in, and Cucurella was there to oblige as we go into a minute of added time.
Yeah, it was a super ball. The ball made it, but the energy levels of Cucurella, he's been up and down all day, and he's getting into the box, and a stooping header there. Goalkeeper, no chance from that distance.
Well, Stuart will be on air on TalkSport after the final whistle with Scott Minto to react to an incredible day of football and action actually on and off the pitch in the Premier League. The managerial sacking at Wolverhampton Wanderers at Gary O'Neill, the win late on for Manchester United in the Manchester derby as City's crisis continues, and our Chelsea going to go within 2 points of Liverpool at the top. 1-0 up halfway through added time in the first half. Long throw by Pinnock towards the near post, header away by Colwill. Poor touch by Sancho, and he a little lucky that Collins couldn't bring the ball down for Brentford, who have got it back. Jackson makes a half tackle. Yarma Liuk steers the ball into the feet of Pinnock, who drills it in low, sliced up into the air by Toffson again. Not an entirely convincing clearance. Chelsea nearly there at the end of the first half. Madueke belts it upfield, and they are there. They lead at half-time. And a great roar again from the Chelsea fans. 1-0 up in the West London derby. 3 times in the first half they were thwarted by the Brentford goalkeeper Flecken. Jackson, Enzo Fernandez and Noni Madueke all denied, but it was Madueke with the moment of the game. His wonderful cross headed home from close range by Marc Cucurella just before the break, and that's why Chelsea lead Brentford by a 1-0. Stuart Pearce, what have you made of it?
Well, Chelsea have been the dominant force, there's no doubt about that. And just when you thought that Brentford was sort of getting comfortable in the game, if you like, without threatening against Chelsea, Pinnock has been outstanding, I think, at the heart of their defence. Chelsea get the breakthrough that they needed.
Second half action to come. Stuart Pearce, England legend, with us tonight on TalkSport 2. Southampton 0, Tottenham 4 is the latest score over on TalkSport, heading towards the break there. Half-time here at Stamford Bridge. Chelsea 1, Brentford 0.
Game day exclusive on TalkSport 2 with Sky Sports. Stream more Sky Sports football than ever before. Available with no contract on now. 18 plus, stream our internet, terms apply. $1.39 at McDonald's gets you a delicious cheeseburger. $1.39 at a concert gets you... Testing. McDonald's Saver Menu. Actually get your money's worth. From 11 a.m. Price and participation may vary. Price varies on delivery, subject to availability.
You could skydive out of a plane. Or swim with sharks. You might even skinny dip in icy cold waters. Or you could get that inexpressible high, that guaranteed rush from finding just the thing you wanted, the thing you needed, at a great sale price. Winter sale ends soon. IKEA, the wonderful everyday.
You don't just check in to a village hotel. You work out. You jump in. You play on. You tuck in. And drink up. Village Hotels. 33 locations with everything under one roof. A huge gym with pool and great membership opportunities. And a buzzing pub and grill with delicious food, ice-cold beers and live sport. Check out villagehotels.com and work out, stay, meet and play.
Screwfix Sprint delivers from store to door in 60 minutes or less. So, whatever the job, you can do it with less faffing and more fixing. Less driving, more drilling. So don't break your stride. Screwfix Sprint. Order now exclusively on a Screwfix app. £5 delivery charge, no minimum spend. Don't stop. Sprint. Conditions and geographical restrictions apply. Selected products.
We all fantasize about our perfect home. Watching the big game, cozied up in the snug. Balmy summer nights with the kids playing on the lawn.
We're playing railway football!
But come on, this isn't real. Listen, if you're serious about making your fantasy a reality, find out what your home is worth instantly with a free online valuation estimate. Get real about moving. Get on the market. Most common time to obtain an online quote between 1st of April 2024 and 30th of June 2024 was under 3 minutes. Excludes Northern Ireland.
Football is back and it's game on. Get the ultimate football coverage with the Sun's free pull-out goals. With the best writers pitchside for in-depth match reports, it's all about goals. And with unrivaled news from the Premier League to League Two, it has to be goals. Stay up to date on all the latest football action. Get your free copy of Goals every Saturday, Sunday and Monday, only in the Sun.
Game day exclusive on TalkSport 2 with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Whatever the mission, home or away, Enterprise helps over 120,000 people every day.
We're the home of the Festive 50, giving you the gift of football this December.
It's a stunner.
Live and exclusive commentary of 50 gigantic games.
It is game on.
The Festive 50 on non-stop football repository, TalkSport and TalkSport 2.
The stars come out to talk on TalkSport and TalkSport 2.
Wayne Rooney joined us. You're not giving him a chance, we never know. One of the players you've got in your squad is Morgan Whittaker. What have you made of him at Plymouth? And also, did you know much about him when he was at Derby? I sold him.
The biggest voices in world football.
We are joined by Tottenham manager Ange Postecoglou.
Yeah, and you've got to believe in something more than just the victory.
Blue chip, gilt-edged, AAA rated opinion.
None other than Ronnie O'Sullivan, who is here in the studio with us.
When you read stuff about it, did I really say that?
Massive games, massive names on TalkSport and TalkSport 2.
Live Premier League on TalkSport 2.
Liverpool who lead the way at the moment, but can Chelsea close the gap tonight? They're right at the heart of the Premier League title race this season. Brentford will get us off and underway. Jackson left it to the penalty area, shoots! Tipped over by Flecken. Back to Malo Gusto, right wing cross, in towards Jackson, and the header just wide. Got a really good jump there. Chelsea are going to score here, Stuart, aren't they?
This is how you know a team are used to playing with each other.
Given away by Flecken, straight to Madueke. Angle tight in the area, Madueke, good save. He's made up for it, the goalkeeper. Stretches one of those long legs to turn it wide of the post. Madueke, great ball, Cucurella, fine header, 1-0 Chelsea. What a brilliant cross from Madueke, left-footed and in swinging. And there was Mark Cucurella to head home from close range. His first Premier League goal for Chelsea. Madueke belts it upfield, and they are there. They lead at half-time. And a great roar again from the Chelsea fans. 1-0 up in the West London derby. So Chelsea will close the gap on leaders Liverpool to 2 points as it stands in the Premier League tonight. Chelsea 1, Liverpool 0, a latest score. Elsewhere tonight at half-time on TalkSport, Southampton 0, Tottenham 5. 2 for James Maddison, 1 for Heung-min Son, another for Kulusevski, and Pap Sarr on the score sheet too. 5-0 to Spurs at the break as the pressure really piles on the beleaguered Southampton boss, Russell Martin. It has all been happening today around the grounds, around the country. The Manchester derby always provides drama, and today was no different. United coming from behind, scoring 2 in 2 minutes to beat City 2-1 at the Etihad and pile more misery on Pep Guardiola. TalkSport's Alex Crook has been speaking with the United captain Bruno Fernandes.
Bruno, how important is it to make sure, though, that this is a turning point? You've been celebrating with the fans out there. They're still singing your name. How important is it to tap into that feel-good factor and kick on now and string together results? Because that's been difficult.
No, obviously, we can talk about kick on, but as I said, we need to focus game by game. We need to go to the next game now. It's a different competition, but it's a competition that we want to go to the end. And it's going to be another tough game against a big team again. And our focus has to be like going to every game with the idea of winning that game and not focus to think too much ahead, because we're not in the position to do that. In the league, we're not in the position that we want. So we know that every week we have to get the 3 points, but still we know that it's a long way to the end of the season. But we have to go step by step.
The manager made some big selection calls today. Obviously no Marcus and no Alejandro in the squad. Does that send out a message that you have to be right at the top of your game in order to get your place in the team?
No, you have to ask the manager what decision was about, and I don't know. It's his decisions. We have to respect, but they are part of this victory too. Everyone that was not involved in the squad today, Johnny was not here today. Also, is also a part of this win. Luke Shaw also. Toby that's being with us also is. Everyone is involved in this victory. We don't let anyone behind, and everyone is aware that the manager gives chances to everyone, and we want everyone to get their chances, and when they get the chances, to be at their best. And I think we're talking about 2 players that have been doing great things for the club, and they still can do it, and they will show it and they will prove it, because we believe in everyone that is in this squad, and no one is apart.
Bruno Fernandes scored the equaliser from the penalty spot. The winner came from Amad Diallo. City 1, United 2. Bruno Fernandes there with Alex Crook for TalkSport. Live cricket coming your way tonight with day 3 of the 3rd test between New Zealand and England. Our team will be live here and on the TalkSport Cricket YouTube channel from 9:30 tonight, as despite the series already being wrapped up, England look to fight back from a disappointing day 2 performance. After yesterday's action, England coach Paul Collingwood admitted it was just one of those days.
Yeah, it's got to be said, it hasn't been our best day of Test cricket. Obviously, disappointing day. You know, when you watch sport, you're never quite sure what's going to happen, and today was one of those days where the opposition, you've got to give credit to O'Rourke. I thought his spell, was very hostile, caused a lot of problems for us, and to lose the wickets that we did was disappointing. But we all realise that Test cricket doesn't always go your way. It does have ebbs and flows. And, whatever we do from this point, we'll still be looking to win this game.
And after the day's play, remember to check out the Following On podcast, which will have exclusive interviews with both England and New Zealand players shortly after play comes to an end, as well as highlights of the action and plenty of insight from our team.
Game day exclusive on TalkSport 2 with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Enterprise has vans of all shapes and sizes. So if you've got a plan, we've got a van.
You don't just check in to a village hotel. You work out. You jump in. You play on. You tuck in. And drink up. Village Hotels. 33 locations with everything under one roof. A huge gym with pool and great membership opportunities. And a buzzing pub and grill with delicious food, ice-cold beers and live sport. Check out villagehotels.com and work out, stay, meet and play.
Screwfix Sprint delivers from store to door in 60 minutes or less. So, whatever the job, you can do it with less hassle and more hustle. Less pausing and more pressing on. So don't break your stride. Screwfix Sprint. Order now exclusively on a Screwfix app. £5 delivery charge, no minimum spend. Don't stop. Sprint. Conditions and geographical restrictions apply. Selected products.
Sack the gaffer. You need thesun.co.uk. Bagged a big move? Check out thesun.co.uk. Oh, come on now. Never a pen? Read thesun.co.uk. Seen red? See thesun.co.uk. Whatever's going on in the game, whenever you want it, wherever you are, from goals to gossip and everything football, it's got to be thesun.co.uk.
We all fantasize about our perfect home, sipping a morning coffee out on the terrace. Good morning, Mr. Squirrel.
Morning.
The kids building a treehouse in the garden.
I'm living my perfect childhood.
But come on, this isn't real. Listen, if you're serious about making your fantasy a reality, find out what your home is worth instantly with a free online valuation estimate. Get real about moving. Get on the market. Most common time to obtain an online quote between 1st of April 2024 and 30th of June 2024 was under 3 minutes. Excludes Northern Ireland.
Hey, is your Aunt June still coming to Christmas dinner?
Yep, and her new boyfriend.
I'll get the extra chair.
And his daughter.
Oh, and some plates.
Plus her boyfriend.
Ah.
And his two mates, their girlfriends, their neighbours, their second cousins, twin sisters, the mailman, Glenn from down the road, his primary school teacher, my personal trainer, his dog, his accountant Bill, and that lady I met on the bus.
We're going to need to go to IKEA.
From extra plates to bedding and everything in between. Get guests ready.
Oh, and Grandma's staying over.
IKEA, look wonderful every day.
$1.39 at McDonald's gets you a delicious cheeseburger. $1.39 at a concert gets you... Testing. McDonald's Saver Menu. Actually get your money's worth. From 11 a.m. Price and participation may vary. Price varies on delivery, subject to availability.
Game day exclusive on TalkSport 2 with Sky Sports. Stream more Sky Sports football than ever before. Available with no contract on now. 18 plus, stream our internet, terms apply.
Big ticket, stick it in the back of the net. Monday night Premier League football. What a strike! Bournemouth versus West Ham. Build up 7:30, kick-off 8 p.m. And he scored! Energised and exclusive on your festive 50 favourite football station, Talk Sports. What a winner! Jingle bells, jingle balls, jingle goals.
Live Premier League on TalkSport 2.
TalkSport 2's coverage of the PDC World Darts Championship starts tomorrow afternoon from Ali Pali with our excellent team of Ian Danter, Mark Wilson, Chris Murphy, Chris Mason and Paul Nicholson across all of the action over the next 3 weeks, with Gabby Partington backstage catching up with the players. Live commentary of the darts from tomorrow afternoon at midday here on TalkSport 2. Chelsea 1, Brentford 0. is the half-time score. Chelsea players just starting to come back out for the start of the second half. Southampton 0, Tottenham 5 over on Talk Sport. Second half commentary can be found by downloading the free Talk Sport app, and then you can swipe between both stations at your leisure. Just looking down towards the edge of the touchline here, I don't think there have been any half-time substitutions. Marc Cucurella's first goal in the Premier League separates the two teams. Chelsea, though, will know Stuart Pearce from the first period that Brentford will not make it easy for them, or you think they will? You think that there is still a little bit of jeopardy in the game going into the second half?
I definitely think there is, as long as a second goal isn't forthcoming by Chelsea. I think they'll dominate possession if that is the case. But from Brentford's point of view, they'd have fancied their chances going in 0-0 at half-time. They'll be disappointed they haven't, but still an opportunity in this game for both teams.
Chelsea will get us off and underway for the second half. From left to right, Royal Blue with white socks towards the Matthew Harding end. Quite a few gaps in the stands as the second half begins here on Talk Sport 2, and Brentford playing from right to left towards the shed end, which is where the away supporters are. Brentford in the red and white striped shirts, black shorts and black socks. Lewis Potter looking to tear down the left, but he's blocked off by Malo Gusto, who tries to set Chelsea away on transition. Jackson is stopped by the sliding challenge of Collins, but it's won back by Enzo Fernandez. Now Malo Gusto crosses high to the back post and he's overhit that. It'll be a goal kick to Brentford. So Chelsea with Sanchez in goal, no changes. Gusto, Tosin, Colwill and the goal scorer Cucurella. Caicedo and Fernandez with Madueke, whose cross for the opening goal was very impressive. Palmer and Sancho behind Jackson. And Brentford with Flecken in goal, Van den Berg, Collins and Pinnock the centre-halves, Roerslev and Lewis Potter the wing-backs, and Norgard in the midfield with Jarmo Leuk, and Damsgaard playing a little higher in support of Visser and Burmo. I'll remind you of the two sets of subs in just a moment as well. You're listening to Talk Sport 2. A minute has been played, and that's a foul by Malo Gusto in front of the Brentford dugout, which is applauded by the Brentford boss, Thomas Frank, the decision of the referee. Here is the England legend Stuart Pearce with us for commentary tonight on Talk Sport 2. What are you expecting from the second half?
Well, I think Chelsea are going to swamp forward and look to get this second goal to hopefully put the game to bed slightly, but Brentford have got to slightly improve what I would say is keeping possession on turnover, and probably the set plays. That's something that they've got to put Chelsea under a touch more pressure on.
This is one of our 50 live games for you on the TalkSport network in the month of December, and it all continues tomorrow night. Bournemouth against West Ham in the Monday Night Football over on TalkSport. Free kick to Brentford, whipped in high by Mbeumo. Here comes Sanchez, the Chelsea goalkeeper, collects well, and the quick throw out is on from Madueke. Away on the left-hand side, races forward unchallenged towards the midway point of the Brentford half. Now Cucurella on the overlap. Cucurella with the chance to cross, and that's taken a deflection off Roerslev. It's a Chelsea corner, and of course the quandary for Brentford now is that Thomas Frank, particularly with their dreadful away form, he knows that if they were to concede a second, Stuart, that would probably be that.
Yeah, I think you could be right there. That Chelsea attack, they went with lightning speed. Now I'm just looking at Cucurella. He's not even breathing heavily. He's just run 100 yards.
Corner's been taken short, and now here is Palmer outside on the far side, the Chelsea left in front of the West stand. He gets beyond Damsgaard, hooks in the high cross to the edge of the 6-yard box, over the head of Tosin. It'll drop down now to Gusto. Infield, Madueke can size up the shot. Onto his right side, drills it in low. That's turned away. It was an awkward shot from Madueke on his weaker foot. Now Gusto crosses, headed away at the near post, this time by Van den Berg. Madueke on the edge of the D on that favoured left foot. Back to Sancho. Chelsea fans still retaking their seats in front of us. We're right at the back of the main stand, tunnel side. Steep drop to the touchline below. Sancho, right edge of the penalty area. Madueke with the shuffling feet away from Collins, who gets a good tackle in at the last moment, the Irishman. Very well timed, and it had to be that challenge inside the penalty area. He goes back to goalkeeper Flecken, who clears. But once again, territorially, Chelsea dominant in the second half, really, following the pattern of the first so far. 1-0 Chelsea.
Yeah, I wonder, Joe, the longer the game goes on, the more Brentford might change this this five-man back line as such. They've struggled to turn that five into a three. Whether they'll change and go to a flat back four potentially.
I wonder how many changes Russell Martin has made at half-time. Changed the whole team if he could. Southampton 0, Tottenham 5. Second half will be on Talk Sport tonight. Brighton 1, Crystal Palace 3 earlier. Man City 1, Manchester United 2. City 9 points off the pace in the race for the title. Celtic, the Scottish League Cup winners, on penalties over Rangers after a 3-3 draw. Wins in the Championship for Watford and Burnley, and in the WSL for Everton over Manchester City, also for Arsenal, for Manchester United and for Aston Villa. Toss-in shepherds the ball back to the feet of the Chelsea goalkeeper Sanchez, who belts it clear under pressure. That'll slice out of play for a Brentford throw right in front of Thomas Frank. And Brentford know that there is still hope in the game, as long as it remains realistically just 1-0, and their great record at Stamford Bridge, remember, in the Premier League is one that they want to keep intact. They won every single away trip to Stamford Bridge since becoming a Premier League club. Chelsea hoping that jinx ends tonight.
I think this is going to be their biggest ask, that is for sure, being a goal down against a Chelsea team that are in very, very good form at this moment in time. And I think Brentford just need to get a little bit more decent service up to Visser and Mbuemo. They prove certainly that they can be a handful this season, but they're dealing with scraps at present.
Enzo Maresca watching proceedings from the edge of his technical area, hands in pockets. Has suggested Chelsea are not in the title race time and time again. Maybe he will have to look at that opinion again the longer the season goes on. 51 minutes have been played. Chelsea with calm and composed possession, playing with great authority, this Chelsea side. Palmer down the middle and a square ball to Gusto with the bright orange boots on. Wide right, Madueke again in a one-on-one situation with Lewis Potter. Ball into the feet of Palmer, edge of the area, skips beyond the defender. Surely he was tricked. No free kick given. Cleared by Damsgaard over halfway. And Burmo chasing. Good starting position from Robert Sanchez, who clears. But the referee must have felt that was a dive.
Well, that's all you can say, you know. And then you go to the situation, why wasn't he booked for diving if he thought it was a dive?
No retrospective booking as yet. Kukured as well, retreating to win the ball back for Chelsea in his left back area, but yes, he had to charge back to whip it off the toes of Rösler. And now Chelsea break between the lines and find Palmer, who cleverly steers the ball forward into the path of Madueke. Inside right channel, plenty coming forward in support in blue. Madueke back towards Palmer, intercepted this time by Norgard. And the Brentford captain clears. Up to the halfway line where Lewis Potter knocks it left to Mbuemo. Not had a meaningful effort on goal in the game so far. Brentford, who have a trip to Newcastle in the quarter-finals of the Carabao Cup on Wednesday, will keep you up to date with the goals as they go in that night. We've got live commentary of Arsenal against Crystal Palace on Talk Sport and Southampton against Liverpool on Talk Sport 2. Goodness knows how many Liverpool might get that night. And then on Thursday in the Carabao Cup, it's Tottenham against Manchester United, and it has certainly been an absorbing night for Tottenham fans and a very good night for Ange Postecoglou. This game has much more jeopardy to it, though.
Yeah, indeed. Just have a look at that replay of Cole Palmer. I think he went down too cheaply, I really do. Looked to buy that free kick in a really good position for himself on the edge of the box.
They've got big overhanging television screens now at the top of the East Stand, so the fans can see what we're seeing on the monitors. Free kick to Brentford, 6 yards in field, 12 into Chelsea territory. Floated to the edge of the box by Mbuemo. Here comes Sanchez, collects it very well. Oh, and he's been shoved over there by Collins. So a free kick to Chelsea. Almost took it off the head of the Brentford man there, did Sanchez.
Well, I tell you what, he's come twice now, and he must have been a good 15, 16 metres out of his goal to come and pluck something. Fantastic goalkeeping, it really was.
Chelsea looking to make it 5 league wins on the spin tonight. Robert Sanchez, who didn't play in the win at Southampton recently. There was a Premier League debut in goal for Jurgensen, who is on the Chelsea bench tonight, along with Nkunku, Vega, who scored in European midweek, Samuel Raksaki. Early ball over the top for Chelsea towards Jackson down the left. Little touch towards Kukured, cleared away by Pinnock. Aguiyu, Disasi, George, Dewsbury Hall and Achiampong also on the Chelsea bench, which has a very youthful look to it. Now, Jadon Sancho, infield from the far side, the Chelsea left. He thinks about an in-swinging right-footed cross. Brentford have got everybody in red and white back behind the ball. Chelsea 1, Brentford 0 on TalkSport 2. There's a contest, perhaps the game is riding on the next goal. Here is Madueke, corner of the penalty area near side. He thinks about another left-footed delivery, couple of step-overs. Back to Malo Gusto, delivers high to the back post. Sancho tries to pull it back, and it'll be smuggled away by Van den Berg. Out of play for a Chelsea throw.
Yeah, slightly overhit there. Sancho's done well to get something on it. Looked as though it was going out of play. Probably the best cross we've had in the game has led to the goal.
Brentford bench, by the way. Valdemarson, the goalkeeper. Carvalho, Janelt, Megoma, Aya, Konak, Schade, Mee and Trevitt. They are stretched quite thin, Brentford, with some of the injuries that they've got. Here is Gusto for Chelsea, midway inside the Brentford half. Everybody inside the Brentford half of the field bar the Chelsea goalkeeper Sanchez. Attack-free defence feel about it. Madueke right across the face of goal, and Ethan Pinnock balloons it over the top into the lower tier of the Matthew Harding, where all those banners are saluting Chelsea legends of the past, and they have a corner.
Well, just in front of us, Thomas Frank's got the tacti board out now, showing one of his subs. So I think there'll be a change very, very shortly.
Tactic board or the iPad or whatever it is they use these days.
Yep, I can see the counters being moved around, the magnetic counters.
Cole Palmer will take the corner for Chelsea. Their 7th of the game, left-footed, high to the back post and toss in. Chelsea want a penalty. Cucurella went down. So too did Tossin, who's slowly getting up to his feet. Nothing's been given by the referee on the field. In fact, it was Colwell in the challenge.
I think there was a touch of WWF tag team wrestling there, Joe, at the far post.
Does that mean you're surprised it wasn't a penalty, or were they both at it?
To be fair, the referees just give up and think, well, they're all wrestling each other, I'll give nothing, and no one's
evens
bothered.
itself out, doesn't
it? Indeed it does.
11 minutes into the second half. Here comes the other corner from Palmer, and Flecken dropped it initially and then smuggled it away, diving forward the Brentford goalkeeper. That was a nervy moment for him. Immediately Chelsea retained possession. Enzo Fernandez pumps a glorious crossfield ball right to left to the feet of Sancho. Now he's taking on Rösler, who stands up to the challenge. Back though to Gusto, 25 yards out, whips the ball to the back post. Palmer really racing to try and keep it in, he can't. And it is a goal kick. So still just 1-0 to Chelsea against Brentford on TalkSport 2 with Sky Sports. Don't forget you can stream the biggest Premier League games available with no contracts on now, like Bournemouth against West Ham live tomorrow. Search Now Sports. I wonder when we'll see the first changes. When you were a manager, Stuart, was that sort of 60-minute unofficial rule, one that you usually would look at as the sort of time to bring players on?
Depends on the scoreline and what you see with your eye, Joe, to be quite honest with you, but you want to have players to come on and have enough time to have an impact in the game. That's the important thing.
Visser down the Brentford right. Cucurella arms behind his side. Visser's deep cross is gathered by Sanchez, and too close to the goalkeeper. That floated delivery, a good height for Sanchez as well. And on the turn on the near side is Gusto. High ball up the near side channel. Good interception by Norgard. He turned cleverly there to take 2 in blue out of the game completely. And the ball is at the feet of Yarmolenko on the lip of the centre circle now as Brentford continue in possession. Norgard's high ball up the Brentford right. Yarmolenko lets it drop over his shoulder. He's away from Jadon Sancho. Back to Brian and Burmo. Wisser awaits the cross and Burmo delivers. Damsgaard through the crowd. Couldn't get to it. It was just a touch over hit from Burmo.
Tell you what, Brentford throwing players forward now. They might just get caught on the break.
Chelsea are so quick on transition. Malo Gusto right edge of the penalty area, back to Palmer, lovely flick, Enzo Fernandez, good block, it'll run to Jackson, surely offside. The flag does go up. Had to be offside. I don't know how he ended up in that position, Jackson. It was a good block from Van den Berg as Enzo Fernandez looked for what would have been his 4th goal in 5 appearances.
Yeah, Jackson's just picked off the middle to near post. thinking Gusto was going to whip one across the face of goal. Cole Palmer done extremely well on the edge of the box just to help it on to create a shooting opportunity.
It's an entertaining and energetic game, this. Stuart Pearce will be alongside Scott Minto, our summariser at St Mary's tonight, to react to the evening's football, the day's football over on TalkSport. Once we're done here on TalkSport 2, we'll bring you the live cricket, England against New Zealand. Cole Palmer down the middle for Chelsea, wriggles away from 2 and then 3 in red and white. Lovely work by Palmer, the ball sticking to his feet like glue. Sancho to the dead ball line, great acceleration, and now Jackson. What a miss! What a miss! And no offside flag to bail him out this time. On the edge of the 6-yard box. Was it easier to score, Stuart?
Well, it's fairly high. He's taking it on sort of side foot. And really, he had enough time to take a touch and just turn it into the net from there. Oh, he had so much time. He's right on the 6-yard box, come across the face of goal, swung his left foot at it. Sancho's done brilliantly pulling this back. Well, really poor miss. That would have put the game to bed. Flecken, problem for him. He's down at the moment, so physio's on.
Almost too casual, almost nonchalant there. Jackson, maybe not expecting the ball to reach him, and as you say, Stuart, Flecken is now being treated, the Brentford goalkeeper. An hour played, Chelsea 1, Brentford 0. It's still Southampton 0, Tottenham 5 in the Premier League on TalkSport. It was 5-0 to Spurs at half-time. Elsewhere today in the Premier League, Brighton 1, Crystal Palace 3, Manchester City 1, Manchester United 2. So City 1 win in 11, I had to check myself there, 9 points off the pace in the title race. Watford 2, West Brom 1, Norwich 1, Burnley 2 in the Championship. Celtic, the Scottish League Cup winners after a 5-4 penalty shootout victory over Rangers, a 3-3 draw after extra time. Kilmarnock 1, Hearts 0, a full-time score. And in the WSL, Everton 2, Man City 1, Villa 3, West Ham 1, Palace 0, Man United 1, and Liverpool 0, Arsenal 1. As Brentford still continue to treat their goalkeeper, and now is Valdemarson, the substitute, getting some final instructions possibly on the near side of the field. I think he might be. Manu Sotelo is the Brentford goalkeeping coach, and is Valdemarson going to have to be brought into the game here? Well, that would be a dramatic change, and a change that Brentford don't want to make. They're going to stick with Flecken for now, but maybe the big Icelandic goalkeeper, he may yet make his Premier League debut tonight. We'll keep a good eye on Flecken. Even more reaction to today's football, including the sacking of the Wolves manager Gary O'Neill, by the way, on TalkSport Breakfast tomorrow with Jeff Stelling and Ali McCoist. And they're going to bring on Vitali Janelt, who definitely is not a goalkeeper. Very shortly, Brentford, back from injury today. High ball over the top towards Mbermo, down the right-hand side. Colwell at his back. Colwell makes a challenge and Chelsea win possession. Colwell marches forward. Now Sancho wins Chelsea a throw out on the left. Goalkeeper looks okay, Stuart, I think now.
Yeah, he's up. I think he's just stretching his shoulder off by the looks of it. So, yeah, he looks fine.
So here comes the change, and it's Damsgaard who leaves the field. And the German Janelt, who was the Players' Player of the Year last season at Brentford. He's the man who comes on.
I think he's been disappointing, Damsgaard, in the game today, I must say.
Not really influenced it, has he? But then neither have Mbermo and Vissa all that much.
No, you're right. The supply line to them's been wanting, it's fair to say.
They will look to continue their excellent home record, Brentford, against Nottingham Forest next in the Premier League. That will be tough, though. Here come Brentford, far side the right with Yarmolenko. Good ball now back to Rurslav. He hangs up a high cross. Janel with the header, blocked off by Gusto, his first touch there. Good interception by Gusto, who's gone down, and the referee stops the game, much to the fury of the Brentford fans to the left half of the shed end, but it's a head injury, so he has no choice but to stop it. And here come the Chelsea physios, 1-0 Chelsea.
Yeah, Janelt was on the pitch a matter of seconds, and the ball, it looked as if he had a really free header there. He's got the header away. Just looking at the replay now, great cross into the box, lofted up. I'll tell you what, Janelt's headed the ball straight onto the back of Gusto's head, and that was enough to render him flat out.
usually quite good in the air, is Jan Elt. Gusto still down, receiving some treatment. No sign of any activity just yet on the Chelsea bench, but lots of players from both teams warming up along the little thin strip of near side touchline. You're very close to the action here if you're watching from the stands or sitting on the bench. There's no big gap at Stamford Bridge. And not like at Stewart's old club West Ham at the London Stadium, for example. And so Gusto back on his feet again. It's intriguingly poised though, isn't it? 19 minutes into the second half. Chelsea trying to finish it off, but Brentford, they're hanging in there at the moment.
Yeah, they're dogged, Brentford. There's no doubt about that. They've been pretty consistent. They'll be disappointed conceding that goal just before half-time. If they hadn't conceded that and this game still been at 0-0, it would have been very interesting, and maybe the natives getting a little bit restless on the back of that, but they're still in the game and they're looking for that opening, which they've not had at this moment in time.
The key takeaway is that Chelsea are going to be 2 points behind the leaders Liverpool. The Liverpool have a game in hand on everybody. Brentford restart the game with Chelsea temporarily down to 10. Keane Lewis Potter's cross blocked off by Madueke. Now Collins tried to surge forward down the left, forgot to take the ball with him. Jackson there to win it back. Collins sliding back at him. Jackson keeps the ball. He's dribbled up to the halfway line, and then his pass takes a deflection right into the feet of Madueke. He races to the edge of the D and a low shot. No power behind it. Easy for Mark Flecken. Now is Gusto back on? He's still waiting to come back on. Chelsea win it back after the goalkeeper's throw was intercepted athletically by Caicedo, and now Gusto is on the field again.
Yeah, I think they had to keep Gusto off for a period of time because he stopped a very promising Brentford attack by the injury.
Who would have thought this weekend that Liverpool, Arsenal and Manchester City would all drop points at home in home matches?
Amazing.
And Forest still in fourth in the Premier League.
You sound surprised, my friend.
What a job Nuno's doing. Again, one of the most impressive managerial performances so far this season in the Premier League, maybe the best. Although Brentford would go sixth if they were to win tonight, but they're 1-0 down. Jackson's touch, Palmer, he played it through. Here is Sancho, round the goalkeeper, angle tight. He has to pull it back. He gets beyond Flecken. He dinks it in, headed off the line. Very nearly brilliant composure by Sancho. He got round Flecken twice, but the angle was so tight that he couldn't shoot, and Sancho still has to wait for his first goal in Chelsea colours at Stamford Bridge.
Yeah, I thought he strayed offside, but he didn't. Just seen the replay on that one. He's onside, and he's done brilliant composure, but it's that man Pinnock again. He seems to be in the right place at the right time when Brentford need him.
Well, he's had an outstanding career and an amazing rise from non-league football, Ethan Pinnock. Enzo Fernandez in the centre circle for Chelsea. Out to the right, Malo Gusto. Still 1-0 to Chelsea in the West London derby as we reach the midway point of the second half here on TalkSport 2. All 10 Premier League matches on Boxing Day will be live on the TalkSport network. 50 games in December. And we speak about Manchester City losing the Manchester derby, their next game, away at Aston Villa, is exclusively live on TalkSport on Saturday at 12:30 kickoff. Now, Visser for Brentford, brings the ball down in front of a slightly hesitant toss-in. Eventually Gusto comes across to win it back, whip it off the toes of Visser and play it back to Sanchez. They've not had a meaningful effort on goal in the game, Brentford, but they only need one potentially.
Well, a lot of that's down to Chelsea. They've stopped attacks and they've got their foot in front of players that think they've got more time on the ball. Done extremely well.
Jadon Sancho into the penalty area, jinks back onto his left foot, then back onto his wide. Wide on the left is Cucurella. Palmer delivers, good cross, only half away. Lottie Madueke from the angle is blocked by Lewis Potter. And now Malo Gusto delivers, first time cross, up to Cucurella, headed away. Palmer calls for it, very tight angle, can't get the shot in. Brentford have got everybody inside the penalty area, defending now, clinging on in the game. A Chelsea second surely makes the point safe.
This is where Cole Palmer's worth his weight in gold. Ball come out to him, just whips it straight back into the danger zone. Good quality as well. A lot of players in the league, you see, take their time on the ball, take too many touches, it never comes into the box. Not Cole Palmer.
Here is Levi Colwill hooking in a high cross for Chelsea, and that's where the hits. And the Chelsea fans on their feet behind the Matthew Harding end were expecting better. So just over 20 minutes of normal time to go. Thomas Frank's Brentford plotting another great result at Chelsea in the Premier League, but they're 1-0 down at the moment. Still very much in the game as Brentford try to play the ball out from the back, and hearts in mouths. It's so nervy watching it even as a neutral. Brentford's attempts to steer the ball away from the Chelsea press, and they've done it just about. Here is Yarma Liuk sliding in his Caicedo, foul, live the centre circle, free kick to Brentford, who take it quickly to Rösler, out on the right hand side, onto Mbumo, jinking quick feet from Mbumo. Out to the right and Rösler again, steers it infield to Yarma Liuk, little flick back to Mbumo midway inside the Chelsea half, poor ball. Under hit, intercepted by Sancho. The latest dodging and head to William Hill as Chelsea come forward now with Nicholas Jackson, left wing, pokes it down the middle, overhit. Palmer was chasing, but Collins gets across. William Hill, the official betting partner of TalkSport 2's Premier League coverage. Right now, Chelsea win at 1-9, Brentford to win at 40-1, the draw at 7-1. That's all thanks to William Hill, 18+, begambleaware.org. Lewis Potter over the halfway line for Brentford. Tottenham still lead 5-0 at Southampton. Tottenham have declared, it feels like, at St Mary's maybe in the second half. On Talk Sport right now, Collins was just bent forward there a little awkwardly. I don't think is there a problem for Collins? Maybe not.
Don't know, but what you do know, there's a lot of activity down on that Brentford bench at the moment. I can see 2 or 3 players potentially coming on.
Oh, and here's Visser down the middle, saved by Sanchez. High ball downfield towards Visser. The flag is up anyway, so it wouldn't have counted. Visser from close range tried to poke it home, and he was in an offside position. Sanchez was alert to deny him, but that is certainly a warning shot for Chelsea.
I've got to say, the lines, the assistant referees are absolutely brilliant at their job, you know. When you look at the speed of that attack, he got it absolutely spot on, and you're talking centimetres being the difference.
And certainly an example of the delayed flag working effectively.
Yeah, great example just then.
And Brentford going to bring on Fabio Carvalho and the big defender Christopher Ayer shortly. Carvalho, who is very familiar with West London and London in general. He started playing football in South London in Balham and began his professional career at Fulham. Then there was that move to Liverpool that didn't really work out. Christopher Ayer, as I say, also coming on. He's had some fitness issues of late. Brentford are 1-0 down, but they're having a good spell. Visser back to goal. 18 minutes to go. Wide to the near side, and Lewis Potter. And Burma is in the middle waiting for the cross. Lewis Potter tees it up. Oh, and that took a big deflection off Enzo Fernandez, and then spun behind at pace for a Brentford corner, and those away fans are on their feet roaring them on.
Well, they might just start believing now that Brentford might have the opportunity of getting something out of this game. Obviously, we've come to a stage of the game. Thomas Frank has decided to throw some subs on, but he's waiting till after this corner comes in by the looks of things.
Kevin Schade, who is on this amazing goal-scoring run, coming on shortly for Brentford. They've got plenty of height in the team ahead of this corner. Now, what's Lewis Potter saying? He's waving towards the touchline. Is he saying, don't make the changes yet? I don't think they were going to make the changes anyway.
Yeah, I don't know whether he's just waving to ask them, where do you want me to stand for this corner by the looks of it.
Brian Mbumo into Norgard at the near post, and he mishit it. Cleared away, back in by Janelt, headed down by Pinnock, smuggled away by Chelsea. Not very far, hooked over his shoulder by Collins, and Norgard! What a save! What a save by Sanchez! A flying stop to deny the Brentford captain. Free at the back post, good connection with it. Sanchez tips it over, corner to Brentford.
Well, Brentford done brilliant there, kept the ball alive on 2 or 3 occasions when it come in the box. Norgard, very, very similar to Jackson's effort earlier, but showed Jackson how you get it on target, and what a wonderful save by the goalkeeper.
Could Chelsea yet be made to pay? In by Mbumo again towards Pinnock, good header away by Tosin. Chelsea far from out of the woods just yet. 17 to go on TalkSport 2, they lead 1-0, but here come Brentford with Mbumo, and a cross under pressure. He had to hit that, otherwise Chelsea might have won it back, and it's gone through to Sanchez, who hasn't had a lot to do, but Did very well there.
That save was absolutely outstanding. If that hits the back of the net, all this good work that Chelsea have put into practice will be for nothing.
Flying save from Sanchez, so they are going to make that triple change in a minute. Brentford, the trio are ready. Schade and Ayer and Carvalho. Long ball by Tosin, headed away by Rösler, and there's real pressure on Chelsea. What's their resilience like now against a difficult opponent who've caused them so many problems here on this ground in the past? It's not always about how you win in terms of entertainment, but if you want to be in the title race, showing an ability to be resilient in matches like this.
Well, they've been resilient defensively as well this season, I think, Chelsea. Keeping things tight at the back. You know they can score goals.
Jackson 25 yards out! Curler just wide! Goalkeeper scrambling. Did he get a touch? Goal kick, says the referee.
Well, the Chelsea players tell a different story. Their body language, they're convinced the goalkeeper's got something on this. Probably did actually. Just fingertips. Very slight fingertips, I think.
So here come the Brentford changes. And Yarmoliuk leaving the field, as is Visser. As Schade and Carvalho come on, so those are the two swaps there. And who's the other player coming off? We said there might be a problem for Collins, but he stays on, and I don't think there is a fitness issue. It is Rösler coming off to be replaced by Ayer.
Well, could be the last throw of the dice here, I think. Thomas Frank trying to shake things up to get this valuable goal.
And certainly, we mentioned Schade in particular, he has shown signs of potentially turning into a very effective player at Premier League level, hasn't he, over the last few weeks, with the hat-trick that he scored against Leicester in particular. 4 Premier League goals this season and all in his last 3 matches. Ayer has gone to right back, you can't miss him. Right wing back, the 6'6" defender. And Burma down the middle for Brentford. They're having a really good spell with 14 to go. Ayer's cross, Carvalho! Off the bar! Schade with the rebound! Onto the roof of the net! Unbelievable! All 3 substitutes involved. What a cross from Ayer! Carvalho stretching onto the woodwork. And then Schade couldn't convert. What a triple substitution! It so nearly was.
Well, I don't think I've ever seen an impact. First touch by all of the substitutes, created it's hit the underside of the bar, hasn't it, Joe? A touch by the Chelsea defender, Colwill, then the finish, hit the underside of the bar, overhead kick, and on the roof of the net.
Chelsea clinging on to their lead here on TalkSport 2. No sign of any Chelsea changes just yet. Although you must say, not a great deal of experience on that Chelsea bench at Premier League level. So maybe that's why Maresca's a bit reluctant, possibly. Given away by Sancho, and the defenders backing off as Mbermo tears forward. He sets up Schade with his back to goal. Schade spins, and then a good late challenge on the recovery by Colwill to send it back to Sanchez.
Okay, the Brentford fans feel as though there's something in the game for them at the moment. They're getting more and more players forward, being more aggressive with their defensive work.
Only picked up a point away from home this season in the Premier League. Away at Everton in a goalless draw. Collins has given it straight to Enzo Fernandez. There's been one massive let-off now for Chelsea. And as you say, Stuart, I don't think that has ever happened in the Premier League before, has it? That triple substitution, triple first touch.
Yeah, I've never seen anything like it. As I say, it was incredible. Great ball across. And we're talking millimetres.
Slow tossing to get it away. Brentford win it back with Vitaly Janelt, and his cross is charged down by Gusto. Well intercepted though by Lewis Potter, the ball out of defence. Lewis Potter scampers in field and curls in a shot, and Sanchez is behind it. Not enough power behind it from Lewis Potter. Chelsea 1, Brentford 0. What a game this is. Relentless pace and energy, and Cole Palmer now trying to influence proceedings. He is blocked off by Norgard. It's gone from being all Chelsea to all Brentford with 12 minutes left.
Well, what's changed in the game is the fact that Brentford are starting to win these little 50-50s, jump in front of people and get the run of the ball, where Chelsea dominated that part of the game.
Let's TalkSport 2 with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Whatever the mission, home or away, Enterprise helps over 120,000 people every day. Tottenham 5-0 up at Southampton on TalkSport. This game much tighter and a far more intriguing conclusion you'd imagine to come. Chelsea trying to wrap it up. Madueke near side the right, thinks about scampering in field onto that favoured left foot, rolls the ball back to Malo Gusto instead. Do Chelsea hold what they have? I don't really think that's the Maresca way of doing things.
I get the impression, Joe, that they feel as though their best means of defence is keep chasing this second goal, personally.
And Palmer's played it through, and Jackson is clear. Jackson stumbles, can't get the shot in. Pinnock makes the tackle, and Brentford smuggle it away. Not been Jackson's night in front of goal, to say the least.
No, you're right there. It's probably just, if he brushes that up and cleans that part of his game up, he is going to be a very, very effective centre-forward. I think he is now, but he could comfortably have had 2 goals tonight.
Missed an open goal, Jackson, tonight. Fabio Carvalho for Brentford, inside right channel, and he was beaten to it by Caicedo with a very important challenge. Early ball over the halfway line. Enzo Fernandez. Jackson, he's got Palmer to his left. It's 2 against 2. Jackson goes on and finds the net superbly. This time he was not to be denied. Chelsea with that winning touch, and Jackson gets his goal, and that should see off Brentford for once at Stamford Bridge. Finally, the jinx is over, and Chelsea are heading to within 2 points of the Premier League table. It looks like being a very happy Christmas for Enzo Maresca and co. Chelsea 2, Brentford 0.
Well, incredible. How important was that underside Labar attack from Brentford? Come out, they didn't get the equaliser. Jackson had opportunities to get the second, and then all of a sudden he showed us why he can be a very effective striker. Got Pinnock one-on-one outside of his foot and drove it into this near post. Game, set and match, I think, Joe.
And I think great courage there from Jackson Stewart, because maybe the easy option, well, not necessarily the easy option, but Palmer was to his left, and when you've missed a couple of chances, the temptation must be to play it.
I think that's the nature of him, you know. I think he is that type of individual. I don't know him particularly well, but he seems that type of individual that will be unshakable, will keep trying to get in there, trying to finish, and he's probably finished the toughest one of the 3 chances he's had.
And I think the celebrations from the Chelsea fans really tell you a lot about the significance of that goal. Chelsea fans punching the air with delight in front of us, and I think it'll bring on Nkunku after all here. Chelsea, they are. Was that Jackson's last touch of the ball? Was his most difficult chance by a long way.
Yeah, it was. Good play. When he isolated Pinnock one-on-one, there was a problem. Pinnock kept him outside, and he's hoping his goalie's going to bail him out. He didn't do that. It's a great strike, a dipping strike, that probably the dip had beaten the goalkeeper.
2-0 Chelsea, and that surely does it for them. That Brentford jinx is done now, you would think, barring a dramatic comeback. Brentford trying to get on the attack from kick-off, but Carvalho has been penalised. Chelsea playing from left to right towards the Matthew Harding end, and they all went to celebrate with Jackson, who's now going to get, I'm sure, a great reception as he comes off.
Yeah, as I say, he's an effective striker, no doubt about that. Chelsea's first choice centre forward. He's got pace, got physical presence, and I think he's just a young man that's going to get better and better.
And he has found the back of the net to make it 2-0 to Chelsea, his 9th goal of the season. And intriguingly, here comes the man who is actually Chelsea's top scorer in all competitions, Nkunku. Yeah, you look amazed. 12 goals this season for Nkunku, which is remarkable, but only 2 of them have come in the Premier League. He's just been so prolific in the Conference League.
Well, that's not a bad backup for Maresca to have, to be quite honest with you. Player coming on who's your top goal scorer.
Thompson rolls the ball back to Chelsea goalkeeper Sanchez, and the urgency and the nervousness that was creeping in for Chelsea surely has been taken out of the game now. 2-0 up, and they've won it back? No. Foul by Enzo Fernandez on Norgard. Referee thought about it and then did give the free kick.
Yeah, Chelsea players not too happy with that decision. I think the reaction of players going to ground certainly influences referees this day and age.
Moments in matches though, right? Stuart Pearce, Brentford could have scored, but off the bar from Carvalho, and then Chelsea break, and suddenly Jackson finds that killer touch that he was missing.
Yeah, exactly that. As I say, the goal before half-time's always a killer for teams. You know, they've done reasonably well, settled into the game a little bit, and then they concede at half-time just before.
Here come Brentford with Janelt. Corner of the penalty area, early ball to the back post. Out comes the goalkeeper, makes an excellent and brave save to deny Burma. Has to be one of, if not, Sanchez's best performance of the season.
Yeah, well done the goalkeeper, he's come out there, and Buemo's flown in at the far post. Don't know what's the matter with him, shot off the end of the pitch and it took an eternity to come back on again.
And Chelsea trying to take advantage, leading by 2-0 now on Talk Sport. Sliding in his Malo Gusto, firm but fair to win it back off Janelt. Bite about this Chelsea team. Enzo Fernandez scoops it high to the right. Noni Madueke driving forward. Enzo Fernandez on the overlap. Here he is again, and the cross is too close to Flecken, who gathers easily. And a quick ball out to the right-hand side, Anaya. Well, Enzo Maresca, I'm sure, won't say that Chelsea are in the title race, but that will become increasingly difficult now to sustain that line. There's a real togetherness about the Chelsea team and the fans, illustrated just then, I think, Stuart, by the fact that Sancho went down, won a free kick, was really whipping up the crowd in his support, and then got a big high five from Cucurella.
Yeah, certainly there's players brimming with confidence at the moment. This result again, what's that, 6 in a row now in the Premier League?
It's been very impressive, 5 in a row in the Premier League.
Yeah, so very, very impressive as well. Looking good in Europe. And going into this Christmas period where points are available and in touching distance of the leaders now.
Got to say, Stuart, some winnable games as well. Away at Everton, Fulham at home, that won't be easy on Boxing Day. Then trips to Ipswich and Crystal Palace. I mean, Chelsea, they will be targeting maximum points.
Yeah, you'd have to, and if you want to be league champions, that's the sort of thing you've got to do.
Palmer's free kick, toss in! Flying header just wide of the top corner.
Great ball in again by Palmer, took the free kick, whipped it in, and tossing, brilliant movement. If you want to get on the end of things and want to score goals from free kicks or corners, just have a look at Tossing's movement there.
Given away by the goalkeeper Flecken, and Caicedo goes for goal from range, and Flecken's there to gather. Not enough behind it from Caicedo. Brentford have brought on Magoma for Lewis Potter, by the way. Chelsea relentless. Madueke with a driving run, and his low shot is blocked by a sliding Pinnock. Chelsea are all over Brentford now. They're hungry for more goals, Chelsea. And barely got enough time to even think at the moment, those Brentford defenders, as Chelsea tear forward yet again. 2-0 up, 3 minutes of normal time to go. Meanwhile, still Southampton 0, Tottenham 5 on Talk Sport on the day where United won the Manchester derby and Crystal Palace beat their great rivals Brighton and Hove Albion 3-1 at the Amex. Stuart and Scott Minto will be on Talk Sport once we're done here to react to the day's football. As Norgard gives it away, Brentford look a beaten team now.
Yeah, they do. They do. This extra hour after the game that I'm going to do, it's a shame we haven't got much to talk about, really, isn't it, Joe? You know?
Just a bit. Hardly anything's happened today. You'll want to potentially have your say tonight on 03717223344, but it'll be Danny Kelly, Scott Minto, who's our summariser at St Mary's, and Stuart here at Stamford Bridge. Looking back, and you're right, look, an hour is just not enough time to look back on the day's football and the weekend's football. Chelsea, the big winners this weekend in the title race?
100%, absolutely 100%. Not so much what they've done, which is vitally important for them, but what the opposition and the rivals around them and the other pretenders to lift the Premier League crown.
Free kick Chelsea, left wing position now. Palmer will take it. It's almost on the touchline itself, a yard infield from the west side of the ground. 90 seconds of normal time to go. Palmer delivers into the 6-yard box, cleared away by Pinnock facing his own goal. Carvalho could only smuggle it through the legs of Palmer and out of play for a Chelsea throw. The winning run doesn't look like ending either.
No, it certainly doesn't. Tell you what, you've got to be impressed with Palmer's delivery. He puts the ball in areas that is horrible for defenders.
Cucurella, Caicedo from the throw. He's trying to battle his way beyond 2 or 3 in red and white. Kevin Schade scampers away at great pace with possession, and he pokes it through to Umbermo. Umbermo is clear, and he puts it past Sanchez. Brentford have got one back into the last 45 seconds of normal time, and maybe Chelsea's victory is not assured just yet.
Wow, interesting, an incredible break. The pass was absolutely magnificent, I've got to say, and Umbermo, when he went in, I thought he'd take the goalie on and go around him. He didn't do that. He opened up his left foot and slid it past him. Great finish.
So it's Chelsea 2, Brentford 1, and Brian Umbermo gets what almost feels like his customary Premier League goal, and another goal for him at Stamford Bridge, and Brentford are not finished. How much added time will there be? Chelsea were starting to cruise, and maybe they lost a little bit of concentration. It's 2-1. What a dramatic finish potentially looms here on TalkSport 2. 7 added minutes. Gasps from the Chelsea fans. Some around the ground had left. Confident victory was assured. Maybe it's not just yet. Malo Gusto has to poke it behind. It's a corner to Brentford.
Oh, Gusto was just trying to be a little bit too clever there in that corner flag. He's put his foot on the ball, sprung it out for a corner, and that is the last thing you needed to do, because the Brentford fans, the Brentford team, they've loaded the box up and got some physicality in there as well.
Brentford still believe. $3,000 at the shed end of the ground. Just under a minute of the 7 added played at the end of the game. Chelsea have brought everybody back. At the moment they're going to close the gap on Liverpool to 2 points, but Brentford could peg them back. Can they make it 2-2 at a ground where they've never lost in the Premier League? It'll be taken by Fabio Carvalho. They're queuing up in red and white. Carvalho delivers. Up go the heads. Cleared away by Colwill for Chelsea. They'll need more of that. Magoma the substitute. Back to Umbermo. Drills it long and high and deep. Ire at the back post, back across goal. And Kunku only half away. Janelt's touch. Now Chelsea break. Cole Palmer up the middle. Lovely ball to Malo Gusto. He's held it up 25 yards out. He's got runners right and left. He's gone left to Jadon Sancho. He tries to bear down on goal. Palmer curls it. That's blocked. Chelsea 1 handball. Nothing given. Chelsea 2. Brentford 1 on TalkSport 2. 2 through the 7 added played. Stuart Pearce.
Well, Caicedo's done brilliant there. Chelsea, best means of defence with Chelsea. They try to get another goal. And really what they need to do is just keep of the ball and try and douse this fire that is Brentford at the moment. They're sniffing a potential point.
And Enzo Maresca gesticulating on the near side touchline as Chelsea try to wrap it up, and I don't think they're going to whip this into the box.
No, I think
only Nkunku's there.
The manager's shouting over. You never know with Chelsea. They've got every chance of doing so. I think Cole Palmer's over it. I think all he'll do is shove it to Enzo and just keep it into that corner potentially.
You wouldn't be surprised with Palmer's quality if he did find the perfect ball for the one man in the penalty area.
Well, he's certainly got the quality to do so.
And he's just played it square.
But he's got the footballing IQ not to do so as well.
Long period still for Chelsea to see out, and Palmer's stumbled, and it's a Brentford throw deep inside their half of the field. Chelsea 2, Brentford 1. Cucurella with the opener, Jackson with the second that looked to have wrapped it up, but Brown and Burma with a goal back for Brentford.
Well, this whole weekend's been full of surprises with the results and performances and the like. and we've probably got 4 minutes to have a massive turnaround in this game potentially.
Arsenal dropped points at home yesterday. Liverpool dropped points at home yesterday. Manchester City beaten by Manchester United today. Chelsea looking to be the big winners this weekend in the title race. Halfway through 7 added, 2-1 ahead. Brentford are throwing everybody forward for a free kick in their own half. Flecken smashes it high downfield. Another free kick to Brentford. Lip of the centre circle, this one.
Chelsea have held a high line at the back of their circle for a free kick which is inside the 18-yard box basically, and give a foul away. Casado has just pushed someone over. All of a sudden the goalkeeper moves up into the opposition half, and now they've got to defend one in and around their box. Amateurish mistake.
Long line of Brentford players forward. Everybody's up for this free kick in the 95th minute. Flecken, the goalkeeper, inside the Chelsea half, stands over the ball. Chelsea with nearly everybody back. Flecken will float it high up to the edge of the box. Poor, headed away by Cucurella, and Kunku holds it up. Enzo Fernandez gives it away, straight to Norgard, scoops it long, corner of the area, Pinnock's cushion header, intercepted by Cucurella, onto Sancho, he's away from Mbermo, Mbermo slides in, Chelsea throw. 2.5 minutes left, 2-1 Chelsea.
Well, you've got a feeling Brentford might just get one more opportunity to load the box up and put numbers in. Cucurella done fantastically well there, getting contact on the ball.
Clearance away by Van den Berg for Brentford. Only as far as the halfway line. Cucurella dived in. Brentford didn't like that.
Going for this.
Here comes the referee. Yellow card for Cucurella. Free kick to Brentford on the halfway line. They've never lost in the Premier League at Stamford Bridge. Is tonight the night that run ends, or can they strike in the last minute and 45 seconds on TalkSport 2?
There we go, Chelsea holding the line, probably about 35-40 metres from goal. Sanchez very aggressive with his position. But Brentford will look to keep the first one alive and see what they can get from that.
He's on the edge of his own box, the goalkeeper. Plenty of 6-foot-plus players in the Brentford attack. Long from Flecken, Cucurella goes down. That's a free kick to Chelsea. Midway inside their own half of the field, and another few seconds can drift away. More Chelsea fans now heading for the exits, and now Janelt marching over to the referee. As Cucurella is slow to get up, and it's a booking for Janelt.
I'm not joking. When you see what Cucurella just done then, he just sort of run into the shoulder of Janelt and fell over. Really poor.
Well, the Chelsea qualities of creative ability and character and resilience, the two sides that you have to show.
Indeed. And cunning and foul play.
Yeah, well, yeah, in that instance.
All in equal measure.
Yeah. Well, you have to have something of the dark arts, don't you?
Indeed.
You're going to be a title contender. Chelsea free kick. Is Sanchez going to pump this long? He does. 30 seconds of the 7 added to go. Headed away. It'll drift out of play. Clever from Palmer. Using his strength, shrugged aside the big defender Van den Berg, and it's a Chelsea throw.
Yeah, he's got good game understanding, Palmer. I've got to say, sometimes you look at the actions of players and you think, why have you tried that? Why have you done that? In the main, he knows exactly what he's doing at the right times.
Christopher and Kunku bursting into the box. Chelsea 2, Brentford 1, and Stuart Pearce, what a game.
Brilliant. Really Good performance by Chelsea. They'll be delighted with the 3 points. Brentford come in, didn't make it easy for them, and when they got the goal back at 2-1, you thought, hang on a minute, anything could happen now. Cucurella, I think he's played the penalty for what would we call it? Would you call it cheating, gamesmanship? You call it whatever you want. But it's infuriated the Brentford players. He's got himself a second yellow after the final whistle, and he'll suffer a suspension now.
Cucurella is still protesting, and he's having to be not dragged away but ushered away by Enzo Maresca, and Robert Sanchez getting in front of Cucurella as well. He who scored the first Chelsea goal, but he has been sent off after the whistle, Cucurella. In the end, what a London derby, Stuart. Brentford gave plenty to it, and they nearly got themselves a draw at the very end, but Chelsea, despite that bad-tempered finish and Cucurella sending off after the whistle, just about did enough in the end.
Yeah, exactly. That probably summed it up. Just about did enough. At 2-0, we thought it was dead and buried, this game. Chelsea looking as though they could get a third and go on, but Brentford are a dogged outfit. You know, they keep going, they're well organised, they're well drilled, and the changes that they made had an immediate impact. They hit the underside of the bar, got the goal back from Mbuemo, and all of a sudden you were thinking maybe 2-2.
Well, I wonder what Enzo Maresca will make of that Cucurella incident, because that should never happen, should it?
Well, we've had a couple of incidents with Wolverhampton. Now we've had an incident with the players coming together, and it's not a good sight, to be honest with you. It really isn't. And Cucurella, what he's done, and to be fair, as an ex-player, I can see it. I think, like, he's walking around talking to his teammates, Cucurella, saying, what have I done? Well, what you have done, you've gone to ground too cheaply in the game, and you've irritated the opposition. That's why you've ended up getting booked at the end and sent off.
What about the quality of that Nicholas Jackson goal for what turned out to be the winner?
Yeah, I've got to say, he misses chances you think he should score, but he's very dogged about what he does. He keeps going, keeps getting in there, and when he burst through in the inside right channel, he had Pinnock facing him up, he took it outside him, unloaded a shot, dipping effort, beat the goalie, and credit to him, he's got his goal.
Are you surprised by just how good Chelsea have been under Maresca?
There were signs last year. Let's not just think it's Maresca coming in. He's improved them, make no mistake about that. Pochettino got him at it on occasion last year, but I think the players in their squad just needed that extra year of maturity. Now all of a sudden they look a very, very effective outfit with goals through the ranks. And as I say, they look more solid defensively.
Right, so Chelsea have won here by 2-1. Let's pick our man of the match with Enterprise Rent-A-Car.
Man of the match on TalkSport 2 with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Enterprise.
Manchester City fans may want to join us. Of course, they may choose not to. I totally get that. But when can we stop pretending this isn't a crisis for Manchester City? And what happens next when even their great manager admits he's not sure that he's going to get them out of the slump they're in now? 03717 22 33 44. Manchester United, a historic win for them, although they were by no means the better team in the game. But what is the leaving out the entire squad of Marcus Rashford. Of course, Alejandro Garnacho as well. Is Marcus Rashford's time over at Manchester United? And does that matter to Manchester United fans, given how he's been one of their star players for years now? 03717 22 3344. One from Wolves. Fans, they've sacked Gary O'Neill. You might say it was inevitable. Is it the right thing? Can Wolves save their season? 03717 223344. Southampton fans, as Dan said, many of you are already home now. Listen to my voice on the radio. There was a small number who left the ground during the first half, and I must say, well done to the Southampton fans who sang all the way through the second half. My question for you, are you happy to stick to Russell Martin's principles and go down? Because those two things to me are inseparable. 03717 223344. And Chelsea fans, the question I'm asking you now is, why can't Chelsea win the title? Because clearly we've got to stop pretending they're not in the title race. Why? What will stop them winning their title? They're a vibrant young team. 03717 223344. We'll be joined as well as myself and Scott Minto. Stuart Pearce will join us from Stamford Bridge as well. That number one more time, 03717 223344. Meanwhile, TalkSport's exclusive live coverage of the PDC World Darts Championship gets underway on TalkSport. Well, I think let's have a quick update from the PDC with Mark Wilson.
Yeah, cheers, Danny. Second game of the night, and Jermaine Watermain has been in great form recently. Reached the European Championship final, and he raced into a 2-0 lead here against the Swiss debutant Stefan Belmont. The third set is a race to 3 sets. The third set is at 2-2. Watermain, as we speak, has got match darts to win it 3-0, and he does win it by 3-0. Impressive performance from Watermain. Average over 98.54 to win by 3-0. Earlier on, Frenchman Thibaut Tricol beat the Aussie debutant Joe Comito 3-1. Comito had a chance to level up the match at 2-2. He missed the dart, and instead Tricol to win it 3-1, and Tricol will take on the reigning PDC World Darts Champion Luke Humphries tonight in the final game to come on. But Jermaine Watermain is through. He'll take on James Wade tomorrow. He's beaten Stefan Belmont by 3-0.
Thank you very much. Don't forget, as I say, still an hour to go of tonight's edition of Game Day Exclusive. I'm Danny Kelly. With me is Scott Minto. We'll soon be joined as well from Stamford Bridge by Stuart Pearce. So get your calls in about Manchester City, Marcus Rashford, Gary O'Neill, Southampton's future, and maybe Chelsea's title thrust. There's no other word for it as well. 03717 223344. That's coming up next here on TalkSport.
Game day exclusive on TalkSport with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Enterprise has vans of all shapes and sizes. So if you've got a plan, we've got a van.
$1.39 at McDonald's gets you a delicious cheeseburger. $1.39 at a concert gets you... Testing. McDonald's Saver Menu.
Manchester City into a problem, and it may be that he saw stuff happening at the training ground that obviously we don't see on a day-to-day basis, that he realised that Stans had just slipped